what we're going to cover today is anime with high ratings this season. Yes, for this season domestically, in terms of excitement, Cinderella Gray seems to be leading the pack, creating quite a buzz. But what anime is actually popular this season? I've referenced several major anime ranking sites to look at anime with high popularity this season. First, this season's anime seems to have somewhat subdued excitement compared to recent seasons. I don't think we get that impression domestically though. The reason for this is probably significant buzz around Cinderella Gray and Shiunji Family that I mentioned earlier. However, these two works aren't really resonating the Western side.
Looking at various rankings, Cinderella Gray averages around 15th to 20th place weekly, while Shiunji is even more scattered. On Reddit, it averages around 20 or 30th place, which is quite high, but on other platforms, it's around 2nd place at average. Either way, you might think these are relatively high rankings, but when you look at actual viewership numbers, checking my anime list member count for reference, the top works this season like Fire Force, Lazarus, Windbreaker, and Witchwatch have significantly high member counts. In comparison, Shiunji and Cinderella Gray, while being very popular titles, have much lower member counts overseas for this season. So in terms of actual viewer numbers, they are not that high. However, they are properly rated where they deserve to be rated, so it's quite a complex situation. This seems to be a major point for this season. While these two works are getting significant spotlight domestically, they are quite subdued overseas. The reality is that the excitement around such big titles doesn't just end with individual anime excitement, but influences the overall excitement of that entire season. From that perspective, domestically this season, both Cinderella Gray and Shiunji are showing considerable excitement, so I personally don't really feel a lack of big titles. However, from an overseas perspective, both numerically and in terms of overall excitement, there seems to be a subdued atmosphere due to this lack of big titles.
Looking at the Anime Corner ranking site, which also publishes vote counts, making it easy to understand. For example, the number of votes in the 10th week of this season is about 4,150, but the number of votes for the previous season, the same 10th week of 2025 anime, was about 5,956. This isn't because the previous season was exceptionally popular. The season before that also had about 10,000 votes. Basically, they are usually around 10,000 votes, but this season is been roughly half. While this might be a temporary situation, looking at the actual numbers, there seems to be considerable lack of excitement.
Given this, what exactly is popular? Looking at multiple anime rankings this season, two titles seems to stand out. First is the Apothecary Diaries Season 2, which has entered its 2nd cour and is consistently ranking 1st or occasionally 2nd, maintaining very high positions. Looking at Reddit rankings, it's maintaining a significantly in 1st place, showing considerable popularity. The second work is Witchwatch, which also boasts very high popularity, generally ranking 1st or 2nd across different rankings. So this season, the works that are achieving both overseas popularity and high ratings seems to be the Apothecary Diaries and Witchwatch. For other works, popular titles vary quite a bit by ranking, but if I list works that are commonly popular and highly rated across all rankings, Cuddle Generic Romance, Rokodo Onatashi, and Fire Force Season 3. These works generally make it into the top 10 of most rankings weekly, so they can be considered works with consistently high popularity and ratings.
Others include Vigilante, Ninkoro, and Windbreaker, which also have relatively high popularity. Their rankings sometimes make it into the top 10, sometimes hovering between 10th and 20th place. I want to mention that Ninkoro had low initial ratings, but is steadily improving, with its latest episode making it to the Reddit top 10. One surprising rating was Banjo Yujo wa Seritsu, which ranks quite high on anime trending ranking. It consistently ranks 4th weekly, making it one of the top popular works this season. Anime trending rankings this season are quite interesting. with the top positions being quite thick. First place, Musume Cinderella Gray place, Shiunji Family Children. Third place, Witch Watch. Fourth place, Apothecary Diaries Season 2. And fifth place, Anna Shirley. These top 5 rankings in the same positions weekly.
For other comedy works, the Children of Shiunji Family averages around 3rd place on some rankings, now 2nd place, while positioning around 5th on others, making it quite a popular work. Others like Summer Pockets, Senkai Daishikaku Season 2 and Perfect Sense also position around 15th place.
Overall, this season, as I mentioned initially, the excitement is somewhat subdued and overall scores aren't extending much. In this situation, slight numerical fluctuations or interesting episodes can easily boost rankings significantly. So while the top 5 are quite established as popular works, below that it becomes quite clustered, making this season with quite volatile ranking changes. Actually, Kijin Gentosho wasn't consistently positioned at high rankings, but episode 6 was considered quite worthy, which boosted it significantly. It even reaches 1st place on Anime Corner and jumped up significantly on Reddit.
Finally, the anime I think deserves more recognition is the Shoshimin series. The Shoshimin series overall ranks around 15th place or make it into the top rankings sometimes, with gradually improving ratings. But personally, I think it's one of the top-class interesting anime this season. Yet I think the first season's poor initial reception is still dragging it down. Actually, episodes 1, 2, 3, or 4 of the first season weren't that well received, but from the latter half it steadily improved ratings, and the second season is incredibly interesting now, but it's not getting much attention. I wish it would get more recognition. Also, Apocalypse Hotel, this might be the most interesting anime this season, while it's sometimes making it into the Reddit's top 10. Other rankings have it around 30th place, so it's quite underrated. The completion level of each episode is incredible, so I think it deserves more recognition. So today, we've discussed anime with high overseas ratings and popularity this season. It was interesting to see how different it is from domestic popular works. The Apothecary Diaries and Witch Watch seems to be significantly ahead, so it'll be interesting to see if other works can catch up to them. Please leave your thoughts in the comment below. See you next time. Goodbye.